Podquest.
Rolling. I just started rolling. We got to get that.
I'm good.
We hit record after saying thick smoke ropes, so we got to get it on tape
you said
now.
thick once.
Well, okay. Whatever.
Don't fucking lie to our listeners.
I said, okay, I'm saying thick smoke
Hold
ropes.
on. Time.is has an update.
Okay.
Something has changed. I've scrolled down.
Uh-huh.
And right past the time zone list,
Yeah.
there is a video playing of this day in history.
Holy moly.
And below that, there is a purple box with a quote from Miles Davis that says, I always listen to what I can leave out, which is sort of like how we do this podcast.
That's certainly how I do this podcast.
We've really, tried to be the Miles Davis of Mortal Kombat ephemera podcasts.
I think we've mostly succeeded in that, certainly.
I think when you consider how incredibly specific that demographic really is, we couldn't help but succeed.
Let's be real here. Miles Davis, he's always said that one of his biggest musical influences was Jonathan Sloat, who did the music for Mortal Kombat Conquest.
Yeah. Also, I know that we said before we hit record that we were going to stay on topic, but I have such an important question.
Okay. Also, his other influence was the guy who did the music for Raven. I can't pull his name. Christopher Frank. Got it. No edits. We're one and done. What's up?
Jeffrey Meek. So according to a tweet I just saw, did the Here in My Garage guy buy Radio Shack?
Who the fuck is the Here in My Garage guy?
Oh, come on.
Is this a Canadian thing?
No.
Here in my
you know who this is.
Garage guy. I know
the fucking YouTube ad of the guy who's like in his garage talking about books or whatever.
This dumb motherfucker.
Did he buy Radio Shack?
Here in My Garage guy radio. This guy sucks.
According to one tweet I saw, he resurrected Radio Shack. I don't know if that's true. Hang on. I can figure this out.
God.
Well, it's autofilling Ty Lopez Radio Shack.
Ty Lopez
crypto pivot, like Radio Shack crypto pivot.
Jesus fucking Christ. God, I am...
Protos.com, Apex Slimeback Ty Lopez, their words not mine, infamous for bragging about his lavish lifestyle, is now appropriating Radio Shack's name as a spokescreen for a dodgy initial coin offering. I don't know what that is.
Oh my God.
Anyway, the Me in My Garage guy turned Radio Shack into
into Bitcoin,
like a crypto shell company.
Motherfucker.
Anyway, I just found that out literally right now.
Weird that was on the time.is website on the homepage.
It was right after the Miles Davis quote.
Should we? We might as well not, but let's clap in 20 at.
Oh yeah, we haven't clapped.
We'll clap at 25. All right.
Can we clap at 30?
We can clap at 30. You're forcing me to do an edit.
No, you're not. You don't have to.
Okay.
My clap was really bad.
I heard it. It's saying in. We're not doing another one. Ladies and gentlemen, also
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 8 p.m. on a Tuesday.
We're recording late, both in terms of days for when I have to put the episode out, and also
length of the lives we have left to live, because we both feel like shit garbage.
I have a cold, for sure. Corey,
I just have like human frailty, I think.
Yeah,
that's what I'm suffering from.
You had forgotten when you drank that old water that you had also like frozen a little bit of it in ice cube trays, and you just happened to like drop a little bit of old water into your Coke Starlight, so you're not like feeling the full effects. You've just like
if you put Mentos and Coca-Cola Starlight, do you die?
Probably. I would imagine so.
Yeah,
it would weirdly burst into flames.
Just like space does.
Yeah, that weird silence is staying in. What are we here to talk about?
It's called a pregnant pause.
This is a fucking nightmare. For my inability to... I'm going to end up editing this thing. I can already tell.
My fan has just started making a very fucked up noise it wasn't making before.
Well, I cannot hear it on my version of your track that I'm recording.
I could hear it through my headphones.
So maybe I'll just use your audio and I'm just going to hit publish on this thing right out of the
I don't know if it's
software.
picking up or not, but I know we said no edits, and that's not even me doing a bit. It was just such a notably different sound that I thought it maybe broke. So that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Battlewave?
We are here today to talk about some comic books, Corey.
Comic books.
Yeah, man.
It's
World
like when you,
of Betty and Veronica Jumbo Comics Summer Fun Special.
in your library, when you were in school of whatever level, did you have graphic novel Bibles?
We did not. Not as far as I know.
Well, they're real, and this is basically what Mortal Kombat Battlewave is.
It's a graphic novel Bible.
Yes. Yeah. That's absolutely correct. There was also a manga Bible. Like, it was intentionally... Like, it was in it. Like, it was made by English people.
So,
like, it was not...
So these are, like, the Bible as graphic... Not, like, the Holy Bible as
like
comic
Christ's book. Yeah.
Holy shit. That's not... I thought, like... I was thinking, like...
No, like the King James...
I was thinking, like, an almanac.
Great book.
I was thinking like an almanac of graphic novels, like...
No, absolutely not. Like Christian's Christ's Bible.
Fuck me. That sucks, dude. Did you read them?
Fuck no.
Did Jim Lee do the artwork?
Did I ever look at one?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, wow, they've updated. There's something called the Action Bible.
Oh, I've heard of the Action Bible.
That's a new thing. This just looks like Conan. This is fucking crazy.
You walked all over my joke. I said, did Jim Lee do the artwork for the graphic novel Bible?
Who's Jim Lee?
Never mind.
I'm an idiot. I don't know who Jim Lee is.
Danny gets it. Shout out to Danny. Mortal Kombat Battlewave issues 1 through 3. Ready to just get into this bad boy, Corey?
Yeah. The clock's ticking on the rest of my life, and I think if I want to spend it talking about Mortal Kombat Battlewave, the time to start is right now.
Then I better do a quick Neal Nook here.
Welcome to the Neal Nook.
Is that pause staying in?
No, that one I can find because I've got a sound drop like right there. I can just chop that fucker right out, man. This soundboard's a mess. I got to reorganize everything.
A mess.
Issue 1 of Mortal Kombat Battlewave, titled Where the Wild Things Are, was written by everybody's favorite Mortal Kombat writer, Charles Marshall. Penciled by Patrick Rollo, as many of these are. Inks by Abraham Madison and Richard Emond. Letters by Joseph Allen and Scott Katanich and Scott Sava on colors. And it took two guys to edit this book, Mark Panicia and Dan Sahin. Let's jump into this thing. We open with like a good look at dragon-faced Shao Kahn, the Emperor, right?
Yeah, can I lodge a complaint?
Yes.
I thought that motherfucker was supposed to be Goro, and I spent so long just looking at the page, just like, he's talking about Goro. Goro's not here. Who the fuck is this guy?
I guess he's a little Goro looking.
He doesn't look like any Shao Kahn I've ever seen in my life.
He looks,
in my beliefs.
Yeah, well, you've only seen the human man Shao Kahns from the nonsense that we watch.
Yeah, and I don't have a lot of I'm not a very I don't accept change.
Right.
So they can't do this to me.
But he is,
that joke aside, I just thought it was kind of weird.
Joke's a little strong there. Yeah, I mean, he's always like had a cool dragon head in the games, particularly in like the 3D era when they can, sculpt it, right?
I never played those, never heard of them.
Yeah, but also like Mortal Kombat 9 and 11. He's got that dragon head. I don't know if you ever see it in 11, but you definitely see it in some of these. Yeah, I remember it throwing me for the first time I saw it also, which wasn't this comic. It was in the video games. I like a dragon.
It was in my dreams.
It kind of was. I like a dragon-headed Shao Kahn over a human-headed Shao Kahn. But Shao Kahn's
I've never seen a dragon-headed Shao Kahn say anything glorious.
Shao Kahn's kicking it. with King Gorback and Kintaro, and they're all just kind of ganging up on Shang Tsung for like fucking up Mortal Kombat, right?
Shang Tsung has never looked like more of a pussy.
He's
I'm gonna be honest with you.
He's like begging for his life. He's like
He has never looked more like a shambless wreck of a man.
I think they throw him off the tower at one point, but then like,
Oh hell yeah, they do. They're like, we're not even gonna kill you because that would be too nice, which is a classic Mortal Kombat trope. In a world full of death, the meanest thing you can do to somebody is not let them die.
it's kind of true. Yeah, there are fates worse than death, and we don't know what. All three of these issues, we didn't really find out what happened to Shang Tsung, but yeah, my note says Shang Tsung's begging for mercy like a little wuss. Shao Kahn's like on to him. He's like, I know what you pulled. You tried to get ultimate power from the Dao De Jian and overthrow me, and you lost Goro, right? Gorback, Goro's daddy, wants you dead, but I've got something much worse in store for you. Then
Look, my guy, I'm staring right into your eyes. I can see it. You tried to get the ultimate power, didn't you?
He did. Yeah, he
You
spent
dumb motherfucker.
7 comic books fucking Scooby-Dooing around trying to get that book open.
Also, lest we forget really quick that the 1990s ass introduction to this dragon-headed man includes the line, his list of crimes would fill a phone book.
Shout out to Dead Technology.
Shout out to the Yellow Pages.
Yes. Is yellowpages.com even still like around?
We're going to find out.
Yeah, we are.
You can't ask me a question like that and not expect it to happen to yellowpages.com. If it's not, can we buy it?
Yeah, we can, actually.
Listen to a MK podcast at yellowpages.com.
Yeah,
no, it very much is a functional website, and their logo is YP, the real Yellow Pages.
Yeah,
so
I'm
don't
looking at
even
that
try to
too.
fuck with me with the fake Yellow Pages. I swear to God, I will come to your house and I will force install a bunch of toolbars into your Microsoft Edge browser.
Absolutely wild that this entire website is just a list of Shao Kahn's crimes, too.
Yeah, except for the question and answer section, which you can only ask questions about Shao Kahn's various and myriad crimes.
Would Shao Kahn commit this crime? Has Shao Kahn committed this crime
It's like
yet?
a magic 8-ball where you just ask it about, like, what kind of crime would Shao Kahn commit, and the answer is just like yes or whatever.
Stealing Oreos, yes. Pantsing a clown, totally.
Murder.
Riding a motorcycle on the sidewalk all day long. What are other crimes? Pirating Japanese television shows. You got it, dude.
Downloading a car.
Sure. He's definitely, yeah. He's the one person who successfully downloaded a car.
Convince a kid who is doing crossing the road after school, and there's a crossing guard there, to get on their hands and knees behind the crossing guard, and then engage in a meaningful conversation with the crossing guard just long enough to push them over the kid so they fall.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm going to level with you, Neal. That's not as funny as ending on downloading a car, and I can tell that you wanted to keep going, but I had the idea, and if we're not doing as many edits, I can tell all the bad jokes I want, is all I'm saying.
God, I hate you. Mortal Kombat After Dark.
Mortal
Podquest.
Kombat, 8:19 p.m.
So we cut to a warehouse where Kano is tied up, and some guy named Osaka, who's like a big leaguer in the Black Dragon, is is calling him a failure and
What
saying
SNL impression of somebody was that?
it wasn't. It was just me stumbling over words. Anyway, fuck you.
Big leaguer. My fellow Americans. This man. I can't even do it without laughing.
God damn it.
Just imagine Joe Biden saying big leaguer, thank you.
On a big leaguer. On the Amtrak.
Yours is, that's not Joe Biden either. That's like, yours is like, fuck, I'm not going to think of their name, but it's like, it's got to be breathier.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of breath, man. My throat is kind of sore. Let's keep going. Anyway, some guy
We're
named
like 2 pages in.
Osaka, leader of the Black Dragon, I guess, calling Kano a failure, saying he embarrassed the Black Dragon, which, like, didn't Osaka read the Special Forces comics? Or like watch that Dead of the Dragon episode of Conquest, because the Black Dragon's just always kind of been an embarrassment, right?
Right.
Like Kano successfully escaped from prison. That's the most impressive thing anyone in the Black Dragon has done so far.
It was. Did you know that the hit television show Prison Break is based on the time Kano broke out of prison?
I did know that, actually. They had changed names for legal reasons, but it is basically exactly that.
It was called Kano Break before that. But
it was, yeah. Totally. We cut to the same warehouse we're already in. Reading my notes wrong.
Cut to the current location.
Yeah. Kano's like tied to a chair and his feet have been like cast in concrete, and Osaka like pulls the lever for like a Looney Tunes style trap door, and Kano falls into the water below the warehouse.
It's crazy that you caught that there was somebody named Osaka.
Well, I immediately was like, Osaka, that sounds familiar. I was thinking of Osato.
Right.
Yeah, and then I was thinking of I can't pull his name. The guy
Raven.
Kerry Tagawa plays in Raven. And I was like, it's similar. Like, wouldn't that be a cool shout out if it was the Black Dragon guy from Raven?
Cool.
But I don't think it is.
I can figure this out.
Yeah, you figure it out while I describe Kano sinking to the bottom of the ocean, but managing to break his hands free of his ropes and then start beating on the concrete block until it breaks, where he can then swim back to the surface because Kano has unfinished business.
Osato.
Right? Osato. Close, but no cigar.
Wait. We've definitely had this. Oh, wait, it's a different line. Never mind. Sorry.
No, you're good. What was Bruce Locke's character in RoboCop 3? That was Otomo. Yeah.
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 How could I ever forget?
Sure. We've got the trilogy. Osato, Osaka, and Otomo. Anyway, Kano gets to the surface of the water, and then Raiden is just like right fucking there, and he's like, come with me, Kano, I have a job for you. And then Kano's going to disappear from this comic book series along with Raiden for a while because they're going to go fuck around in their own miniseries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to read that next. But let's check in on Liu Kang, who lives in Chicago and is sitting at what looks like a drafting table.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out. So my notes are a bit of a... Is Liu Kang a journalist like fucking Superman? And then my next note is, oh, he's sitting at an easel?
It's definitely like a drafting table. I mean, Chicago...
But he also seems to be like some kind of corporate head.
Who knows?
He seems important.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like the people doing the drafting aren't important, but you get the distinction that I'm trying to make.
Sure, but he could be like a civil engineer or an architect. I mean, Chicago is like well known for its architecture.
Yeah, that's why they got the bean.
Exactly. So like I think that they were like referencing that, especially because later on we're going to see him take a meeting in Willis Tower, formerly the Sears Tower. They drew that into the comic book. So I think
they rename the Sears Tower after Sears got like canceled or whatever happened to Sears?
Yeah, they lost the naming rights.
Yeah. It's the crypto.com tower.
It's the Willis Tower.
It's the Ty Lopez Radio Shack Tower.
Yeah, it's the Tyler the Creator Tower.
That'd be way fucking cooler.
That would be cool. Yeah,
that would be fucking awesome.
This petition to get the Willis Tower renamed to the Tyler the Creator Tower.
Tower of the Creator. It's like a toddler trying to say his name.
Yeah.
Anyway. I really like Yonkers.
And I like my fries Quan Chi. Oh boy. Anyway.
Kiwi Bomb is underweight.
All right.
And that joke's over.
And that was you doing a toddler voice, specifically a toddler voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, staying in. So Liu Kang's just like talking to his boy Johnny Cage on the phone when suddenly ninjas start attacking him for the third time this month. Right? So like he has this weird monologue as he's kicking their asses, where
Liu
he's
Kang
like,
is getting tired of this.
"Yeah, I thought I thought Liu Kang was done with Mortal Kombat, whatever else, right?"
Can I just say that Liu Kang is getting tired of this is extremely George is getting upset.
I don't get the reference. Is this a Seinfeld
George is getting
thing?
upset is from Seinfeld.
Yeah. See, I don't. I barely remember any Seinfeld.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, listeners, write in with your Seinfeld memories. Tweet us at Mr. Corey Price.
Tweet us at Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, so like he's mad about this and mad about all of the ninja attacks and mad because he keeps getting drawn back into the world of Mortal Kombat. So,
Literally drawn because this is a comic book.
hey yo, if I were on the right page, you'd get a rim shot for that. Let me go back right now. Vamp.
I just
for
got the Discord sound.
There you go. The Discord sound's not going to come through.
Yeah, but I got it.
But you got it. Anyway, so after he like complains about all of this, he then throws all 4 of the ninjas out of the window of his like high-rise apartment or office or whatever. He just like
Unequivocally murder.
straight up murdered those people. Just absolutely. And like, I mean, imagine the pedestrians on the street. You know, he probably like killed several innocent people in this.
You know, it would be as dangerous though to just throw a penny out of the window because like
Yeah.
if you think about it.
Well, what's funny is if you
Terminal
look,
velocity and all that.
if you zoom in, you can see that he drops a penny at the same time as the first ninja, and
Yeah.
they're falling at the exact same speed.
Yeah, and they also I think how it works is everything weighs the same when it hits the ground.
Yeah, that
I
sounds
think
like
that's right.
science.
Yeah. So
What's-
if you throw a penny out, it will weigh as much as Black Dragon Ninja. Is that
That's-
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that what Isaac Newton was saying?
That is 100%. That's exactly what he said. It was the theory
Right.
of Black Dragon relativity.
If you go to time.is, you can scroll down and you'll see a quote from Isaac Newton that just says, "Yeah, that's what I was saying."
Yeah, it's right there on the website.
It's in the text.
Meanwhile, Jax is just like pumping iron somewhere.
Jax is on vacay.
Yeah,
and,
500.
he's about to be on a much longer one.
500 reps on the bench press with massive weights on it. Like, was it just me? Like, I was a little confused looking at the art. I was like, is this just the bottom side of a CD? But no, it was the weight on the side of his dumbbell. It was humongous.
Yeah, he's huge. He's Jax.
500 reps, dude. He's like, that's like world record shit, I'm sure.
525,600 reps.
Yeah.
I think I got the number right. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah. How do you measure a year
swole
in
I
the
am.
life? Anyway, he's like, man,
Me,
I can't
Jax.
believe I can't believe Kano broke out of prison in that 3-page story from Special Forces issue 1. I really want to go capture Kano. But then the lights get cut off in this gym and somebody absolutely lays his ass out with the barbell. And it's Goro. Goro is here, everybody. The Prince of Pain makes his appearance.
Appearance?
Yeah, he makes his appearance.
Is that anything?
No.
Okay.
Good try though, man. They can't all be winners. Elsewhere,
You're right. So
we go to Outworld.
sorry, I just started laughing at my own note.
Okay. Yeah. What does your note say?
It's coming up.
All right, it's coming up. All right. So elsewhere in Outworld, in the wastelands of Outworld, more specifically, Baraka.
Oh, wait, we missed something important.
Okay.
Jax bleeds.
Jax does bleed. We got blood
Like
in
real ass blood.
This is the first time we had real ass blood in the comic. I think you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, and I
was
just
all-
literally wrote, "Oh wow, blood." That's not the note I was laughing at.
Yeah, it was all
Also,
like
he's just got a
black-colored.
portrait of Sonya on the wall.
Well, they're BFFs. He's probably working out like at the Special Forces, like vacation home. You know,
Yeah, that's why
there's
I have a 27 by 40 movie poster side portrait of you in my house.
yeah. Well, I'm honored. It was not easy to stay still so long for that oil painting to be completed.
And then we had to
But-
ship it.
Yeah, and
Ugh.
shipping art is expensive, and the insurance.
In these trying times, gas prices are
God.
so high.
Yeah.
How much is gas in Outworld, do you think?
The fucked up part was that I sat through that entire oil painting session, and then you were like, "Great, can you just like fax it to me?" Like, I can't run this painting through a fax machine, dude.
Well, you
That's-
could. Okay, well, we don't need to relitigate this because we see this differently. You could.
Well, I mean, the dimensions are all
You
wrong.
could do it.
It was
Just
I
get
had-
a bunch of fax machine. I don't understand why this is so hard. We talked about
I
this.
know you said cut it into like a bunch of 8.5 by 11s or
Yes.
A4 or whatever size you guys use up there in Canada, and just feed it to each one
Celsius,
through,
but yeah, okay.
and then fucking kilogram paper or whatever,
Yeah.
and then
A1, but it's EH. Thanks.
anyway,
Did you throw my paper heads in the chat?
the fax machine just was not a viable option, dude. It wasn't going to come through in color or anything. Anyway,
I'm picturing a fax machine now just pouring a bunch of paint out onto
Yeah,
somebody's desk
just squishes all the oil paint off.
and sends it like through the secret wires.
Jesus Christ. All right. So,
Anyway, my funny note's coming up. So
all right. So we're in Outworld. Baraka and Kung Lao and Katana are meeting at like a big stone conference table in the middle of a desert cave. Right? Because they're
Yeah.
planning on overthrowing Shao Kahn. I feel like we missed something. I feel like the Katana Molina one shot must have happened or something. Like we're missing
yeah,
some information
the pace
here.
at which this has all been moving, not
Yeah.
just with Outworld Gang, but just to reestablish the context of all the characters at the beginning of this book. For what it's worth, everybody gets like 2 pages. It is
Yeah.
a breakneck speed.
Yes.
Like it's a frankly unenjoyable to read pace because it's too fast. But then I got to write my funny note, which is we get here, and I just wrote in all caps, "Ooh, let's get plotting, bestie." Which is something that Kung Lao would say.
Yeah, he did say it actually. That's from the text. You're just it was Katana and Baraka was all like, Baraka must defeat Shao Kahn, and Katana was like,
Baraka's a robot in this one.
Katana will stop Shao Kahn's conquest over all the realms, and Kung Lao was like, let's get plotting, besties.
And
Yeah.
then Sub-Zero said, I
Hey.
brought Krispy Kreme.
He said, who wants ice cream? Right? Because he's cold. Anyway. Yeah.
He said, oof, ouch, my bones.
Kung Lao doesn't trust Baraka, and Baraka's like talking shit about Kung Lao. So they fight, right? And Katana tries to stop it, but it's no good. And then Sub-Zero shows up and Frozones Baraka and is like, who wants ice cream? So that's the gang, right? Sub-Zero, Baraka, Kung Lao, and Katana all meeting in Outworld to overthrow Shao Kahn. We will be referring to them from now on as Katana
worst part
and the
of the book.
boys. Also that, but primarily Katana and the boys. Okay.
It is that.
Yeah.
I'm going to get this out of the way now.
Uh-huh.
Just aggressively frustrating to read.
Yeah.
These segments.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
like they were challenging everybody to make it miserable to read.
Yeah. Yeah. These parts are bad. Very,
It's
very
just,
fucking
do you
bad.
want to read people bicker, but largely in sentences that gesture at being one-liners, or are just like generic blah speak that doesn't mean anything?
Right.
Cease your hostilities, mutant, or you shall be left in the cold.
Hey, yo.
Oh, you're so funny, Sub-Zero. Like, shut the fuck up, man. Nobody likes this.
Right.
Baraka's super fucking annoying. Dude talks like a fucking like a Christmas tree would talk.
Like a cave. He's still talking like a caveman.
Yeah, and it's just people bickering.
Sorry.
And it's super annoying.
Cave person. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, I don't like those parts either. But we're whatever. We got to talk about it anyway. We go to the Emperor's Fortress, right? And Melina is there. Just kicking the shit out of Reptile because she's, quote,
Melina
had
is
it.
there, and don't worry, she's also going to say her name so we know who she is. Because lest we forget, every single person in this book has said their fucking name 800 times again. We're back to our old habits. Like, Goro does it when he murders Jax. Everybody in the fucking Outworld group basically does it. Liu Kang says Liu Kang is getting tired of this.
Do you think
I'm getting tired of this?
Do you think in real life Charles Marshall does this about himself in conversation?
Oh, 100%. Dude talks like fucking Elmo.
I love it.
Who loves it?
Neal loves that about Charles Marshall. Yeah. Melina says, quote, Melina has had it with your groping and pawing, which, like, dude, chill out.
Fair,
Reptile.
understandable.
That's fucked. Like, clearly you're in the friend zone. Stay there, right? So they fight and try to kill each other, but then Shao Kahn shows up holding a big orb. Do you think it's the Warrior King's orb? I think it's the Warrior King's orb. He's just holding a big orb. Yeah,
look, we got to give ourselves something, right? At this point in the lore.
It's got to be the Warrior King's orb.
The Warrior Corp's orb.
Yes. And he tells them to stop fighting, and he needs them to get along. And then he's like, I know what's coming in the future or something like that. I don't really know. And then it cuts to fucking Scorpion, who is literally leading an army of the dead.
Where have we heard that before? Oh,
Defenders
right. This
of the
ripped
Realm,
off Mortal Kombat Conquest.
Defenders of the Realm episode 2 also is all about Scorpion leading an army of the dead.
You tell me which one did it first. I'll tell you my favorite.
That's the end of issue 1.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. Not very good.
Nothing really happened. A lot of
it's a lot of like, hey, here's we're gonna reestablish every character again because somehow you've forgotten. And beyond that, I'm just like every single one of these books. By books, I mean series, just for like clarity's sake. But they're all the fucking same thing.
Yeah.
Like, and they're all structured very similarly. And I know it's the same writer, so this is maybe a weak complaint, but like they're all written in a language and tone that are just like, yeah, man, I've been here before. And like not in a way that makes me want to do this exact same thing over again.
Yeah.
If I wanted to do that, I'd go read the Silmarillion or whatever whatever.
You haven't read the Silmarillion, dude? I thought you were a Lord of the Rings fan.
No, I watched the Hobbit movies, and then I just decided I was going to call myself a Lord of the Rings fan.
You fake fan.
I don't know.
Fake fucking fan.
I mostly showed up for the GoPro shots.
The Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings movie?
I've heard of him.
Okay.
I haven't seen that though.
Yeah, I like that movie.
I follow him on Twitter, and then like.
Do you really follow Ralph Bakshi on Twitter?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Why don't I?
Yeah, because you're fucking slacking.
I love that man. I feel like he's probably a little problematic.
You want to see some titties on Twitter? Fucking follow Ralph Bakshi, dude. Shit.
Well, I mean, there's other places to see those, but
yeah,
all right.
Are they animation cells?
Well, I own most of his movies, so yes.
Riddle me this, Batman. Did you want to see Bilbo off to the elves?
Hold on. Why am I not signed into our account on my computer? Well, I'll just follow him from mine for now. Ralph Bakshi.
Also, just to be real for a second, some of this Ralph Bakshi art goes fucking crazy.
Dude is an all-star.
Dude's cool as fuck.
We should watch Fire and Ice. That movie rules. Anyway. Yeah, issue 1, not great. Certainly not as good as a Ralph Bakshi film. A lot of like, not even like setting up the chessboard, right? Like
no,
just like
it's setting up the fact that chessboards have pieces.
They're waiting for a free board at the park and getting ready, like getting the pieces are still in like your pockets. right?
It's introducing the concept of a game.
Right. Yeah. It's
It's
reading,
like not even chess.
it's reading the instructions. It's reading the back of the box before you open it to get to the instructions. Anyway, issue 2 is called A Fighting Chance. We've got a new artist on this one, VT Hoke. VT Hoke on pencils, I believe. John Miller, David Mowry, and somebody Reed.
I mean, this is the first one that starts with a Siskel and Ebert joke, so I guess it's better than issue 1.
S. Reed on inks. That they only got an initial in the little creator box. Dave Lamphere on lettering and Joan Igawa on colors. So like a pretty heavy like creative team changeover for this issue, except Charles Marshall is still writing.
He certainly is.
We open on
You can
Johnny
absolutely
Cage. We open on Johnny Cage, who has won an Oscar for his film Sudden Violence. That was one of the Ultimate Combat Quiz trivia questions that
The
we did.
sequel is in production, and Siskel and Ebert have already given it 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Those dudes lack integrity and can be paid off for good reviews, according to this comic book.
Which is a big fucking swing to take it. My guy, Raj. The fucking audacity.
Your guy, Raj.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when
I got a 27 by 40 oil painting of his portrait in my house.
Remember when Gene Siskel printed Betsy Palmer's address in the
that's
newspaper?
fucking crazy, right?
so that people could send her hate mail for being in Friday the 13th. That's pretty fucked. He doxed Betsy Palmer. What an asshole. Anyway,
it's my favorite line in Twin Peaks, who doxed Betsy Palmer. It's a much more straightforward answer.
It was, like someone just opens the newspaper. Oh, it's Gene Siskel.
Where's that fucking t-shirt?
But it was written backwards. All right. So Johnny Cage finishes like faking his way through an action scene, right? Because he's a big fucking faker. I challenge you to a fight, Johnny Cage. And he goes back to his dressing room where Sonya Blade is just sort of like chilling, holding his Oscar.
Yeah, he's just sort of carrying it around.
Yeah, of course he is. He's Johnny fucking Cage.
Look, if I had an Oscar, which I don't.
Right.
Just to be clear. Yeah, I'd probably carry it around.
Yeah. Everywhere you go.
Sure.
Try to like get better seats at restaurants, maybe board the plane early.
Also, conveniently, this is the part where we discover that Jax was only nearly killed.
Yeah, we find out right away.
Guys, don't worry, we didn't kill Jax. Ed Boon said we couldn't.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're not allowed to kill the main cast members. Just invent people Hydro and Grum to get murdered.
Siren?
Pete, Jesse, Silence made it through.
Pete, Jesse. Crimmins.
Yeah.
I was trying to avoid defaulting back to Crimmins, but if it ain't broke.
No, Crimmins is good. There's always Shamoboa. Don't forget about Shamoboa.
How could I forget?
Go listen to our Mortal Kombat 95 novel episode if you want to learn all about Pete, Crimmins, Jesse, and Shamaboa. Anyway, she's like, hey, someone tried to kill Jax. We need your help to figure out who did this and go after him. And Johnny Cage is like, I'm making a fucking movie. No way. Right?
Do you know how much it would cost us not production on this bad boy, you dumb motherfucker?
Siskel and Ebert already gave it 2 thumbs up. We have to finish it.
At that point, why bother finishing it? If the reports are already saying they liked it, just like let people imagine what the movie would be conceptually in their own brains.
Right. Better idea. Better movie, probably. Certainly before Prometheus came out, I imagined a much better movie than I ended up getting. So
you're not a Prometheus head?
Not a Prometheus head.
Listen to Crew Expendable on fucking Apple iTunes. Because a lot of people that I feel like Prometheus is really having like a critical reappraisal moment, and I'm surprised to hear that you don't like it.
Yeah, I'm here to shut those.
I assumed
people.
It was for like the deep cut dudes, the DCDs.
It's
DC's nuts. Sorry.
Go listen to the episode. I'll plug it at the end of the show. Haven't plugged it on here.
I'll admit I just did too many bits at once.
This is off the fucking rails. No edits. Yeah, man, I don't know. Prometheus is fine. I don't like what it did to the mythology mostly.
Like the
and
big white
also, guys? No, the engineers are fine. It's not so much that, but like also like everyone in that movie is a dumb fucking idiot, right? Like the whole it's just incompetence all around on that Prometheus mission. If you watch that movie,
I guess that speaks to real life, doesn't it?
In a sad way that just kind of means that we're all fucking doomed.
The future hasn't gotten better because there are still
anti-maskers, basically.
Yes, and
They all
everybody's
take their
talking.
fucking
Everybody's
helmets
talking
off.
to egg snakes.
Right.
And I think I'm wrong. And Danny McBride's in a cowboy hat. Is that the wrong one?
That's Alien Covenant.
Fuck.
Yeah, so that's the next
I
one.
knew I was wrong, but I was like, maybe he's in that one.
We haven't covered that episode yet. Probably having Jade on for that one actually.
Instagram at Jade Sketches.
Where the fuck are we? Oh yeah, Johnny Cage is like, I am not helping you guys. I got to make a movie, and so Sonya like leg flips him onto the couch and like tells him he's a dumb motherfucker, and she's gonna go find Jax's killer alone. And then we cut to Katana and the boys posing like badasses in the wasted plains of Outworld.
And then my brain wants to turn off completely and forever.
Yeah, we're gonna rush through this. Sub-Zero
I
thinks
hate
they're
the
being
way
followed.
they all talk.
They are being followed. It's Reptile. Baraka tries to kill Reptile, but Reptile spits acid at Baraka. Kung Lao and Katana kick the ever-loving shit out of Reptile. Reptile's like, I'm going to go tell Shao Kahn what you guys are doing. I'm going to tell him all about this. Because he hisses because he's a reptile man. And Katana and the boys are like, nope, you won't, or Baraka will kill you. And Reptile's like, fine, I'm going to give you all the information on
And
what
we get an
Shao Kahn
all-time
is
great
up
line.
to. Yep.
Now you must deal with the Cold Warrior. Now you must deal with Sub-Zero.
Yeah, we do.
That
The
really
Cold
encapsulates it. They all
Warrior.
talk stupid. They all
Catchphrases
won't stop
abound.
saying their own names. They're all just saying nothing but catchphrases. And I don't want to be here.
Well, we're out of there now, right? We're back with Shao
However,
Kahn.
the Scorpion Undead Army art does look pretty funny.
We're also
It's
not.
funny just seeing some doofy dudes.
It is funny to see some doofy dudes. We're not actually back with Shao Kahn. That note is about what Reptile tells them about Shao Kahn. He is pissed about losing Mortal Kombat and Goro. He punished Shang Tsung somehow. Baraka and his mutants, because that's what they call the Tarkatans in this, have all deserted Shao Kahn. So they have been replaced by a legion of undead warriors led by Scorpion. Something, something, something. Baraka will finish you in cold blood. Oh, that's right.
He's really the Dragon King
That's
Onaga
right.
of this book.
This is so fucking stupid. So Sub-Zero wants more information out of Reptile, and Baraka is like, nah, he's not going to tell us anything more. Let's kill him now. And Sub-Zero's like, no, we're not going to kill him now. I want more information. And that leads to just Sub-Zero and Baraka fighting for 2 pages.
Dude,
And
I
when-
know. It's like, this isn't enjoyable to read. And I want to make a complaint that I made earlier in our comics discussions. And I know some people may not agree with this. But for me, the way that combat is presented in these books is strangely non-kinetic. So because Mortal Kombat is built around fighting, they include a lot of it. But it's this thing where, like, it's just like, it essentially just amounts to like poses for pages and pages and pages and pages. And it's just like, this isn't accomplishing for me as the reader what you're thinking it's accomplishing, which is like the transition of a really fluid, really dynamic fight. It's just like, it's 2 old men screaming at each other while they like flail around, and I'm just like, man, it's just not working for me.
I'm gonna go to bat for some of the action panels, but I think
Some
the problem,
of it, like some of the art's foundationally cool.
there are
but,
other
like,
books. I'm not gonna name
overall,
names,
I'm just like,
but there are other books that like I've seen the creators talk about them and they're like, yeah, I have a hard time mixing in dialogue into the action because like you can't just have people like citing monologues while fighting. So it ends up being a lot of talking and then like a few action panels and then a lot more talking. And that's the vibe that this book kind of has, right? Like Charles Marshall's just putting, I think, a few too many words in every panel to really like make it feel like a kinetic action sequence. Like that's part of it for me anyway.
Yeah, I would. It's not working for me, and it seems to default back to that fairly frequently,
Right.
which just makes it like a frustrating read because we're a couple series in at this point, and like structurally and in terms of the tropes they rely on, they've all kind of moved in the same fashion. And I'm not expecting big swings. Like these all came out probably in relatively close proximity. It's a very similar creative team. I'm not saying like everything needs to be this like earth-shattering like Dostoevsky fucking, like journey of the soul. But
sure.
like
the most action-packed, best fight scenes ever in Journey of the Soul, honestly.
Yeah, Journey of the Soul is my favorite Johnny Cage movie. But it's just this thing where like
Did your library have Dostoevsky graphic novels?
yeah, they were good. I didn't have a joke for that.
Yeah.
But I feel like the tweaks to make seem obvious to me. I know that they rely on my own preferences, but like,
yeah,
it just feels like a gimme, and it never gets there.
That's fine. I'm still having fun. A lot of fun with these.
It is funny to be like, we gave Liu Kang an office job.
Right.
Who is this new guy, etc.
Anyway, while Sub-Zero and Baraka are fighting, Reptile just snuck away. The Katana and the boys are just outmatched by fucking everything so far, dude. It is embarrassing, right?
Kung Lao really feels like he's there just to see how badly this could go.
Yeah, he's not doing
like,
shit.
He's like, sure, I'll hang out.
Right.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Katana and I are similar of will or something. Anyway, shut up.
My note says that this gang is Defenders of the Realm levels of incompetent.
My note says, yes, he could absolutely still give you away without telling Shao Kahn he gave up the plans. The fuck?
Oh, right. Because that's what Katana's like, oh, it's fine. He
could
can't.
never never give us our scheme away to Shao Kahn without saying that he told us what their plan was. And it's like, yes, he can.
Yeah. What are you talking about, idiot?
Like,
yes.
he could just like, it's not even a lie, because I was going to say he could lie by omission and just not say it. He could just not say it because nobody asked. Like,
but also later he does say it. He says all of it. Like, maybe does she just know him? And it's like, no, he's an idiot. He's either going to say all of it or not say any of it. And I think he'll not say any of it. She bet on the wrong fucking side of the coin on that one. There's a saying that people know.
If you're on the wrong side of the tracks and it's too late at night to be early in the morning, but it's too early in the morning for the diners to be closed, you can just take a walk on the wild side and get your eggs over animal style, and you'll make friends along the way. Thank you.
In Chi-Town, where Liu Kang is going to a business meeting and the receptionist calls him Lou Crane, which is fucked.
Just patently racist. Like, there's just no two ways about it. She didn't even try to say it right.
No.
Like,
you must be Lou Crane.
You must be the first Neal.
It's Lou Crane.
Same level of wrong.
Okay. All right.
What?
This is the meeting that is at the Sears Tower. That's what it was called back then. It is the
How
Willis
did you know
Tower
it was
now.
the Sears Tower, by the way? What gave it away?
Well, I recognized it as the Sears Tower.
Isn't he inside? When
No, okay. The panel before he's inside, it shows Chicago. Like, it shows a building. It shows a building that is the Sears Tower, and like, just based on context clues, they then cut to him inside what you would assume was that tower.
Way too much art's made just for Americans. How am I supposed to know about the Sears Tower?
I don't think anyone's supposed to. I just think it's a nice detail. that they put the Sears Tower in there. The
It's
building in the
like
front of it. The one
extremely
I don't.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne voice. Jesus Christ, that's the Sears Tower.
I don't recognize the building in the foreground with that kind of steeple on it. It's
That's where they make the Action Bible.
that must be it. Yeah. That's Midway headquarters. But yeah, I recognize the Sears Tower. Anyway, Liu Kang thinks he's meeting a Mr. Gold, right?
Booster Gold.
Inside this 108-story monument of engineering. But instead of finding Mr. Gold, he finds Mr. Goro.
Mr. Goro.
He walks into this like office suite and it's all shadowy, and he's like,
It's all
Mr.
shadowy.
Gold, you wanted to see me?
It's all shadowy. Sorry.
There's some kind of a problem. And he's like, the problem is I'm actually Goro and you're the problem, motherfucker. And Goro just starts like swinging Liu Kang around this office suite. I
And
cannot
then
stress
jokes on
this
Goro.
enough. Cannot stress this enough. Goro sitting behind a desk in a high-rise office.
Banker's lamp.
In Chicago.
Just like I have.
Banker's lamp. Yeah.
I have one of those. You know that, right? We've talked about this.
We might have talked about it.
On
I
my
don't
desk,
have
literally
one.
right now, I have one of those green banker's lamps.
My dad had one of those.
So I have to tell you the reason I got it then.
R.I.P. My dad's lamp. Go on.
R.I.P. your dad's lamp. I always wanted one mostly because I thought it'd be funny. Turns out they're more expensive than you'd think for it to be really worth just a joke.
Sure.
But what happened is in my third year of university, the room that I lived in, the only way I could make my bed and desk fit, because if you looked at it through the door, there was this weird enclave on the opposite wall that had a window on it that was like 3 portions. Can you picture what I'm saying? Like
Kinda.
it stuck back a bit in like a weird shape. So
Three,
the only
like a bay window.
kind of sure,
Okay.
kind like that probably is right. But in any case, I'll send you a picture of it later to communicate it. If I find it now, I'll send it now, just so you know what I mean. But my desk had to face the door of my room. So if I was sitting at my desk, I was looking out the door, like to anybody entering my room. So I decided it would be really funny if I got a banker's lamp, and then I thought about getting a nameplate, but I never got one. So it's like if people entered my room, it's like you were stepping into my office.
I love it, dude.
It's really funny. Hang on.
Worth it.
I can definitely find a picture of this if you give me a sec.
Yeah, I'm just going to talk about how Goro
This will be
is
worth the visual bit audio payoff. Trust me.
absolutely kicking the shit out of Liu Kang in this office. And he's saying shit like, you came into my home.
My home, Chicago.
Embarrassed me, and now I am coming into yours to embarrass you. You ruined my life, you motherfucker.
That's what he says. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's nuts. He's like going off on
It's
Liu
weird
Kang.
when Goro said, "You ruined my life, motherfucker."
It should be noted that at this point, Liu Kang is fully dressed in like a suit, right?
Yeah, it's business Kang.
Yeah, it's a business meeting, right? So then suddenly, like, Liu Kang is
I
like
put a picture
out.
of it before I had the lamp. That doesn't help anybody.
That doesn't help at all.
That's not what we want. Though it
No.
might be the only one that I find. So,
All right. We'll just deal with it later.
no.
Goro's talking about how he's gonna like kill Jax, or he already dispatched Jax, and he's gonna like take out all of the other Earthrealm warriors one by one, when suddenly man named Bo arrives.
Bo knows best.
Bo. And Bo is a big giant bald dude in a suit and like a Heisenberg Breaking Bad hat.
He is
right?
a mob bodyguard.
He's just Johnny Cage's personal bodyguard.
Well, not anymore. Right now he's Liu Kang's personal bodyguard.
Johnny sent him because he was worried about Liu Kang, who kept getting attacked by ninjas. And Goro goes to punch him, and Bo just like stops the punch, and he's like, I don't know any fancy karate. K-rate, I think is what he says. But I do know how to kick butts. But I do know how to kick butts and take names. Pictured in my mind's eye.
Because I didn't own the lamp yet.
That is a bay window, by the way.
It is? Okay, great. Well, I had a bay window, and then my desk was there.
wild. It is a little interesting that it goes all the way. It's not like a window seat. Usually they got like a window seat built in there, but that's very good.
Yeah, and then I this was also a point in my life where I thought I needed to own Funko Pops. Glad that's over.
God,
Woo!
nobody does. So, if you like 'em.
Anyway, that
If
room
you like 'em, you
layout
like
kind
'em.
of sucked because I barely had any space between my desk and my bed. But this picture is kind of cool. Like, it
Yeah.
looks like a good room layout until you realize that's the entire room.
Sure. I mean, it's kind of spacious. My feelings are your desk is a little big, but
I think you're just thinking small.
can't believe you owned a Mac.
Oh yeah, I was big Mac guy for a long time. And you can actually see that over the course of this, my Mac died and I got a razor blade over the course of these 2 photos. I got a banker's lamp and a razor blade.
Oh boy, there's gonna be some edits.
Visual comedy. That's not gonna, you don't need to make that many edits though.
No, but I'm gonna make a few. Let me just make a note here.
We're almost to the funny new guy.
Anyway, yeah. Bo just kind of like can beat up Goro.
Yeah, Bo does not fuck around. I wouldn't be surprised if they
Nah.
revealed that Bo was secretly like, I don't know, important.
Sure.
I don't want to take the low hanging fruit and just say like Bo Raicho, haha.
Yeah,
But
Bo
like,
is secretly Bo Raicho.
he's clearly
years
got some
before
like
his
I don't know
conception.
Mediterranean war cult magic or something.
Definitely.
Dude can fucking throw a punch, man.
So like he and Goro are tussling a little bit, and then Liu Kang, who is now shirtless, jump kicks Goro out of the fucking window. Liu Kang just kicking people out of windows like nonstop in these comics. And Liu Kang is like, I don't believe that this wall is going to kill him. So Goro can potentially survive a 108-story fall out of the Willis Tower. It's Mortal Kombat canon.
As we've discussed, Goro famously weighs as much as a penny when he falls from the Sears Tower.
Uh-huh. Yes. Liu Kang once again dropped a penny at the exact same time, and they hit the ground. Boom. Anyway, yeah, Bo's now hanging out with Liu Kang. We cut to an intensive care ward, some hospital at midnight, presumably in Chicago. Everything else is, right? Where Jax is hospitalized, and couple new characters show up. Jade and Smoke are here to beat up a nurse, which they do.
First of all, why does
Yeah.
Smoke say toasty?
Well, yes, Smoke does in fact have a catchphrase in this, and that catchphrase is in fact toasty.
He doesn't have a catchphrase. He has one line he says twice.
Do you know where Smoke came from?
All the weed I'm smoking? No, I'm not. No, I don't remember. I mean,
Okay,
do I know? I'm sure I do. Could I tell you what the answer is right now? Absolutely not. You could put a gun to my head right now, and Neal, I would die because I can't give you the answer.
Okay. Well, I will not put a gun to your head. Don't worry. Smoke and Jade both were hidden characters in Mortal Kombat 2. Unplayable. You could see them kind of like popping out behind the tree in the living forest. It was a nice background detail. How did you fight Smoke? So Smoke, the way you fought Smoke in the game, it was a hidden fight, is you had to be in the portal stage and perform an uppercut on your opponent, and that uppercut had to trigger Dan Forden popping out in the corner and saying toasty, and if he did, you would have to press down and start. And then you would
so
be
specific. How did people ever find shit like that? Like that's just
Game Pro
outrageously precise.
magazine.
But how did
and then
who told Game Pro? Did Dan Fortin tell Game Pro? How did
Dan
Game Pro
Forden
figure
might
it out?
have. Kids figure this shit out. They'd mash buttons in arcades and then try to recreate it, or the developers just like send it to the magazines because it's gonna like drum up. It's publicity, right? It's gonna get people to start feeding quarters in, trying to make this happen in the arcades, or like buy the Genesis copy to do it or whatever. So that's why Smoke says toasty, because Smoke's very first appearance was heavily tied to Dan Forden popping out of the corner of the screen and saying toasty.
Now, what's interesting is Dan Fortin also never said anything else in his life other than the word toasty.
No, he only spoke in the word toasty, and like all of the music from the Mortal Kombat games, just that was him talking. It just came out of his mouth, like already composed.
He's got a
True
terrible
story.
taste of trumpet throat.
Anyway, that is the reason that Smoke says toasty in this. But
Okay.
yeah, the reason Jade and Smoke are teamed up in this book is because they were the two hidden characters in Mortal Kombat 2 when this book was being published.
Now, does any of that explain why in the art where they show up, Smoke is half made of smoke and is like rocket shipping his torso away? Does it explain
that's just
that?
there because it fucking rules.
Because it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
Well, Smoke didn't have a moveset at this time.
So for all we knew, he just turned into a smoke torso or human torso smoke legs.
I think he just
could rocket ship
just
around like
used-
Jimmy Neutron's dog. I don't know.
Yes, basically. He didn't have a moveset. He wasn't a playable character. I think he just like borrowed some of the other ninjas moves, and then same with Jade. I think she just borrowed like Katana and Melina moves. Somebody will correct us on that. I don't
Inevitably.
remember. But yeah, so this is just much like what Mortal Kombat Conquest had to do several times. This is pre those characters having lore and background. So Charles Marshall is just making this shit up as he goes. But yeah, they're there to kill Jax, right? And they're going to kill Jax with Smoke's Smoke Fist and Jade's green energy Psylocke hand, right? But before they're able to do that, Jax wakes up, grabs their arms, and bashes them together. And they just sort of like run through a portal and say they'll meet up with each other again in Goro's lair. And Jax gets out of bed because modern medicine ain't got nothing on the will to live, apparently. That's
He's just
the end.
adrenaline's it mostly.
Pretty much. That is the end of issue 2. Issue 3, No Guts, No Glory. Patrick Rollo's back on the pencils. Richard Emond is handling the inks. Joseph Allen is lettering. And Joan Igawa is once again coloring. This issue looks the most like Blood and Thunder.
This issue has some really cool shit in it.
Yeah.
Like,
This
does
is a
Shao
fun
Kahn have
one.
laser eyes?
Yes, famously Shao Kahn. I mean, that's, he's the most well known for having laser eyes. Like, that's not at all true. They made that up for this.
Also, there is a bold text, ha 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 ha, near the beginning.
Yeah, there is.
That looks outrageously sick. Like, it is the coolest thing that we've seen in the books in a while, relative to like being new compared to the character designs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it all looks like shit, but what I mean is the ha 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 looks especially cool.
It does look cool. Yes, agreed. And it's a classic Shao Kahn line. Like, that's his laugh from Mortal Kombat 2, right? He says, "Excellent."
Yeah,
Right.
he's the only person who's ever laughed like that.
Yeah. So, issue 3 opens with the Scorpion set up again about dead, can't rest with his ancestors, blah, 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 blah. But he's put all that on hold because he's now leading an army for the Emperor. And we see him as Shao Kahn's like right-hand man, right? And they're just kind of like berating a mutant, right? A Tarkatan, and the Tarkatan's like, we will not fight alongside the dead, and Scorpion's like, don't disparage the dead. And then Shao Kahn like laser blasts the dude with his eyes, a power Shao Kahn has never had ever, but he has it in this.
Does it look fucking awesome? Riddle me this, Batman.
Yeah, it looks pretty fucking cool.
Hello, it's me, the Quizmaster, and I'm here to ask you this one question, Batman.
The Quiznos man. Would you like it toasted?
Hello, we don't have Quiznos anymore, I don't think. Or at least if we do, all of them close near me. Can I interest you in a Subway?
We can also toast it.
I recently found out that
Toasty,
Canada
right?
has like the second most Subways
Right.
in the world.
Who has the first most?
You guys.
Of course we do. USA #1, baby. Toasty.
Yeah, the density of like Subways to people is like 3-1.
Toasty. I had to say it 3 times.
You have 1.2 billion Subways or something.
It's not. There's a lot of them around me. Actually, I can think of 4 within like 3 miles.
Yeah, those are all yours.
in different directions. Those are my personal Subways.
Yeah, they're the Neal ones.
Well, I never eat there because their food is garbage.
Fuck.
There are a lot of places to get a better sub.
I can't
around
believe
here.
that Comic Jesus made you 4 fucking Subways, dude. And you're not even going to use them?
Oh, I have. Yeah, no, I'm not. Sorry, I was trying to think of a word. I don't think betrayal's right.
Jesus knows a lot about betrayal, if that's what you're wondering.
I have forsaken our Lord and Savior's comic book Jesus.
I kissed
not
the
going
Subway
to
on the
Subway.
cheek and they knew to kill it or something. Or I guess that's what they did to Quiznos. I'm kind of losing the metaphor.
Yeah, let's just move on with this comic book recap.
What's a comic book?
Okay. All right. It's like that Bible you read.
I don't know what the Bible. I'm just kidding.
Anyway, Scorpion somehow senses that Reptile's in the throne room and a spike ball pulls him, get over here, whatever. And Shao Kahn is like, you little motherfucker, Reptile, tell me what you know, you reek of betrayal or some shit. And Reptile tells him all about Katana and the boys.
When he didn't have to do that.
When he didn't fucking have to. He didn't have to tell
He
him
has
any of
laser
it.
eyes, not like brain-seeking vision.
Yeah, you would have been fine, Reptile. Lizards love it when it's hot. Like laser eyes would make you. That just for clarity. And then Shao Kahn says his classic lines, excellent, and ha 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 ha. And I will be putting those sound drops in. I meant to do it before we recorded, but didn't. Back in Chicago. Liu Kang is on the phone with Johnny Cage again, and he's like, hey, Johnny, why'd you send this big lug? I can't even afford to feed him because dude eats
Bo is
a lot of
eating
food.
Like
Like a chicken, like a turkey leg or some shit. He's eating like a lot of food.
he's eating like Disneyland park food.
Yeah. But the phone call gets disrupted because there's a knock on the door, and Bo, of course, thinks it must be the pizza he ordered. But it's actually ninjas attacking.
And then we're like, cool, we're doing the ninjas again. And we start to feel a lot like Liu Kang.
Yeah. Tired of it. But Bo picks up the couch and just sort of swings it like a club.
Yeah,
and
fuck
just
it.
bowls them all down. But then suddenly he's socked in the face by everybody's favorite Mortal Kombat character, Henge.
Okay, may I?
You may. I have some things to say as well, but please go first.
Listener, close your eyes.
Uh-huh.
Henge is built like, I want to get this joke right, is built
Yeah.
like Rob Liefeld, Captain America.
Okay, sure.
All
Accurate.
torso.
Broad-chested in an uncomfortable way.
Yeah, just the thickest man. He's sort of crusted like the Thing.
Uh-huh.
He's a gray stone man
Yeah.
with red eyes
Yep.
who's unfathomably buff
Yes.
and also claims to be from the Nightmare Realm,
The Nightmare Realm.
which I guess is how Freddy Krueger ties in later. They were thinking of this.
That's the Dream Realm. But yeah, I think so. They
Yeah.
must
Well,
be
I mean, if there's a
connected.
dream realm, there's a nightmare realm. If there's an order realm, there's a chaos realm, you know.
Sure. If there's an outworld, there's an in-world.
In the world. Yeah. If there's a rim world, there's a ROM world.
If there's a rim world, there's a disc world. That's how that
If
works.
there's a disc world, there's a floppy disk world.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, Henge is a big fucking stone man like Stonehenge, and he's from the fucking
Get it?
nightmare dimension. And who the fuck is Henge?
My description for everyone out there who knows DC Comics is picture naked Darkseid. That's
I'm
Henge.
doing it.
That is exactly what Henge looks like.
Picture that talking street. Now picture a human man.
Picture Danny the Street if he were rubble. Yeah, no. Henge is naked
Picture Jeffrey the
Darkseid.
Road.
Fuck you. He's yeah. He looks rad. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, he looks like a big stone man.
He's Tremor, right? Like I'm not gonna say that they did this, but they fucking did this. This is Tremor, right?
Oh yeah, he's kind of Tremor.
But I mean, it's like Mortal Kombat 10 Tremor because Special Forces Game Tremor just looked like Brown Scorpion, but this is like Mortal Kombat 10 Tremor, but named Henge. They must be like cousins, right?
I hate that they isolate. They're like, what do we want to call this guy? Oh, I know.
Fucking
Henge.
Henge.
That word on its own, I don't support it.
It is a bad, uncomfortable word to say. Let's say it 5 more times. Henge.
Hunge.
Henge.
Hinge.
Henge. It is hard on my throat.
Hunge.
Henge. Henge. Anyway.
It's about the henge we made along the way.
Henge knocks Bo around some, but once again, Liu Kang.
Bo, as a reminder, just a big Italian guy.
Big giant refrigerator.
And somehow
Liu
not
Kang
dead immediately.
hops up, suddenly shirtless again, and floors Henge with a kick.
Well, those are his fighting no clothes.
He ripped his shirt off to fight Goro and then ripped his shirt off to fight Henge.
He's flexing them off.
He must be. And then Liu Kang's like, Bo, we got some unfinished business. I got some unfinished business. I got to go back to Outworld, right? Meanwhile,
cut to something that has nothing to do with Henge.
Sonya and brand new character Sergeant Walker and some other Special Forces red shirts
Texas Ranger.
are in the Special Forces battle boat racing towards Shang Tsung's island, or at least where it's supposed to be. Sergeant Walker isn't getting any readings, and Sonya's like, it's totally
They're
here.
like, hey, man,
then,
there's no island here. You're fucked. And then they're
and then
like,
poof.
don't worry. What if I told you there was one here?
I mean, there was.
And then there was.
And they take a raft to the island, and Sonya's reasoning, like, I don't think the island's here all the time, but I think it appeared now because it wants us to find it. And Sergeant, what's his face, is like, do you think it's a trap? And then boom, like they're immediately attacked by those like cat mask guards that we see in the games. And motherfucking Kintaro is here, right? This I liked. I liked this Kintaro scene. I mean, they do the whole thing like, oh, he lived under the shadow of Goro. It's his turn to prove himself, his worth to the Emperor, etc. But like the splash page of Goro, four-armed tiger cat man, right? Strangling Special Forces people in 3 of his arms. Like great use of the multiple arms. Like this was a really good drawing. And then he still has one arm free to knock Sonya unconscious. And that's that for the Sonya part of this comic book. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
I
making
mean,
sure.
your sentence had just ended.
There's a little bit of a delay, maybe.
Yeah, like your sentence had ended and there was like a beat and then he's like, are you still there?
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, man. I'm
All
too
right, just
busy
checking.
reading Matthew Lillard's tweet.
About NFTs.
This one wasn't about NFTs. I also wasn't actually reading his tweets. It's just I have 2 screens, so Twitter is open in one of them.
Gotcha. Back in Outworld, Katana and the boys continue to do fucking nothing. Katana just talks about how awful it is that every dead warrior ever is now undead and marching through Outworld under the command of Scorpion, under the command of Shao Kahn. Baraka thinks it's no big deal. Sub-Zero thinks it's a pretty big deal. Kung Lao is also there. I guess they've decided that they need to go after Scorpion to take care of this army first. I don't really fucking know. 2 days after that, Johnny Cage and Jax are flying in Johnny's private jet to Sonya's last known coordinates.
Sure, why
when
wouldn't they be?
Suddenly, their plane hits turbulence and smoke starts billowing out of the cockpit. And fuck, Jade and Smoke are on the plane.
They don't explain how Jade got in the plane, but it's fine.
Toasty, right? Toasty.
Jade turned into a second plane. And
Toasty. I can't even do the high pitch because my voice is fucked.
how's that?
Toasty. That's not. It's not right. It's like horse sounding. Not like it sounds like the animal. Like
you should
my
say
voice
it like
is
a horse now.
Toasty.
Thank you, listener. It's
That's
been
the end.
great.
Of issue 3 of
Live
Blood
from
and
Chicago,
Thunder.
it's Tuesday night.
What a journey this was.
Tuesday night live.
Let's wrap this up.
With your horse, Neal.
Hey-o.
There's a horse loose in the comic book. Okay, that's enough of that.
Yeah, end of issue 3 of
End
Battlewave.
of that joke forever. And also issue 3 of Battlewave.
And also our friendship.
Why is it called Battlewave?
Well, I don't know. Maybe because
There hasn't
the
even
boat.
been like a particularly high amount of battling relative to.
Well, a lot of ninjas getting kicked out of windows, and then the
I mean,
wave is the waves
yes,
of the
but,
battle
like,
boat.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We're not there yet. We're getting there. Still a sick title, Battlewave. Where
No.
was the blood? Where was all the blood and thunder in Blood and Thunder? Come on,
It's
where
actually
was all,
long for blunder, and there was a good number of those.
Where were the special forces in Special Force? You know what? That's actually we should
they
know.
kind of got that in one.
This entire Special Forces team we see in this comic book, none of them from the Special Forces book. Not a single one.
Well, the special forces is a lot of people.
I know, but
It's
like
the,
it
it's
was
the
so
U.S.
like.
fucking military.
But why did they fucking set that team up with Sonya Blade and Jax to then just like be like, but not anymore?
Those characters are too important. This was just a minor mention.
You don't want to see fucking Torque up here,
Torque and
like in Mortal Kombat, like fighting
and, like,
Kintaro.
Cistern and like fucking Jungle Man and whatever the
Dude,
fuck
could you
everybody's
imagine
name was.
Vapor versus Smoke, dude? Could you imagine?
Literally no. Genuinely no.
It's Vapor's the one who can turn to vapor.
Vapor.
Silence versus Jade. Come on. The book writes itself. Maybe that'll be our Christmas special this year.
What, will we write that?
Yeah, maybe I'll write one of those. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Stuff's starting to happen.
It's
but
off to an start.
They're starting to put the pieces on the board, right?
They're arranging the chess pieces, and by the end, they may have set up them all.
My fear is that they're going to set up for the next 3 issues and then try to work everything out in Tournament Edition number 2, kind of like they did with Blood and Thunder. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what are you going to do? We're going to take a little side trip next time we talk about comics to talk about the Raiden and Kano 3-issue miniseries. But before that, dude, we are finally at the first Quan Chi episode of Mortal Kombat Conquest for our commentaries. I'm excited about that.
This is a big day.
I think that's coming up next. Until then, Corey, let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's.
What do you got going on?
Fatigue mostly, but
Sure.
also other podcasts for sure. A couple of those.
2 or 3.
2 currently. After that, who can say? So we've got They Made Another One. Sequels, reboots, remakes, movies, occasionally TV shows. All that stuff. Double-sided. Double-sided. What?
I was laughing.
No, but like, why did I say double-sided?
I don't know why you said. I don't know why you say a lot of the things you say, honestly. I just roll with it, man. It's usually funny. I like it. It's usually pretty funny when you say things.
Anyway, there's 2 other co-hosts, Liam and Mitch, double-sided. Oh my god!
Yeah, side A and side B.
so-
Movies on one side, TV on the other. It makes sense.
So, well, this week we're watching The Blob from 1988.
Nice.
The episode that's coming out this week, if I have my shit straight, is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2: Freddy's Revenge.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and
A weird classic.
and that's at They Made Another on Twitter, and They Made Another One for listening to podcasts. And also Strat 2 is the name of a podcast where I talk about F1 with my friend Callum. You can look it up. It's like the short form of the word strategy and the number after 1.
Yeah, I'm going to put a link to that in the description. I think I've been putting one in every single episode. So
Hell
go find
yeah.
it there. You can find me on Twitter at Final Neal, on Instagram at Final Neal Retro, and big news, got another podcast of my own to plug. Corey kind of gave it away earlier. Thanks for that.
Just censor the name.
It is a show called Crew Expendable, where me and our buddy, Kenny, are taking just a ridiculous deep dive into the Alien franchise. All of the movies, you know, Alien, Aliens, etc., Prometheus, comic books, novels, video games, just everything in the Alien media universe that we can get our hands on, and a little bit of Predator stuff in there too, where it's necessary. You can find that on Twitter at CrewExpendaPod. Or go to our website, crewexpendable.net, or just search Crew Expendable in your podcast app. Subscribe. I think there's 3 episodes up right now. Might be 4 by the time this is out. Yeah, go check it out. And check out our website for this show, mkpodquest.com. Find links to our store, our ways to support the show, our coffee account, YouTube channel, etc. Follow this show on Twitter and Instagram at mkpodquest. Rate us, give us good 5-star ratings, and write nice reviews. We love it. Follow us on Good Pods. Do the Good Pods thing. You know the drill. Rate us on Spotify. Share us with your friends. Do all of that stuff.
Share us with your enemies.
Yeah, share us. If you hate the show, especially share us with your enemies, because they'll probably like it.
A lot of bad reviews.
Yeah. And we'll be back next week, I think, for a commentary, assuming neither of us gets sick again.
Can't rule that out.